Bitcoin is still pushing sideways, and we have the FOMC meeting coming up just in a couple of hours. I will show you what's most likely going to happen here and what coins we are right now ready to take action with to place new trades. If you want to know what I'm talking about and to see what I have actually prepared here for you once again today, then you should definitely not miss out on that, because there is a lot of stuff that we need to talk about. And like I said, we're gonna do some live trading here while I'm on the stream. And you know the drill, guys. Let's go. Welcome back on this Wednesday. I'm actually way too tired to do this. I was in the gym, I drove around, really tired. But I said, okay, it's FOMC, I have to come out. I cannot leave you guys hanging, but I was that close to not come and make a stream today. So as I said, we have the FOMC meeting coming up here at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is how far away? 4 hours, 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours, I think. It's 4.5 hours away. Yeah. In 4.5 hours, we're going to have the FOMC meeting. Now, when we are looking at rate cuts, the prediction, Fed interest rate. That's what we want. And then we want here, you can take that. I would rather have the Fed watch tool. So here everybody expects that nothing will happen. It will be a nothing burger. It's more about what Jerome Powell will say in his speech afterwards. If he is going to say, actually, we are not cutting right now, but in September, if the data allows it, we are going to cut. That would be the most bullish outcome for that FOMC meeting, in my opinion, or a surprise rate cut that nobody is expecting. The probability is so small that it makes way more sense that he comes out, says if the data is okay, then September we're going to cut, and that could lead to then a continuous upwards move in the markets. So something else that we need to talk about, why did that change here? Where did this go? 1 second, I need to find it again. It's gone. Where did it go? I had it earlier. Let me try to figure out, where did my content go? I'm just gonna need here a second. That's really strange that that disappeared now, because I had this definitely sorted out. It's the first time that that actually in a long time happens to me. So, but I know what I was looking at, so I can find the account and just pull this up once again. No, not this one. There it is. So here we go. So why that disappeared there is a mystery, but I got it. So something else that is extremely bullish right now. The GDP for the second quarter came out at 3%, way better than expected. And Jerome Powell should, based on that, again, cut rates right now. There's no inflation. So, and he says, let people refinance their homes, which makes a lot of sense to me. So again, there is right now definitely some pressure on Jerome Powell to cut rates immediately. And that could be that surprise that we're all waiting for, that he comes out today and says, oh yeah, so because of that report that came out last minute, a couple hours before the meeting, now we actually, our hand is forced to go and cut. So that is the little bit, that little bit of surprising element that we could have today, that we are getting a rate cut. But again, I'm not really betting on this right now, and rather that he says, okay, that is fine. Let's see in September. In September, we're gonna reevaluate. So the DXY is pumping for different reasons right now, all related to strong US economy, and actually we're able to get above 99 points. I still believe that after FOMC, Or worst case tomorrow, we straight come back below that line and then continue the downwards trajectory. If Jerome Powell, for some weird reason, comes out dovish and says, oh yeah, the data shows XYZ, you know, so there is inflation on the rise, but short term, what we saw today yeah, basically today with the job numbers and with the GDP, that is like only short term, you know, so we need to see August data. If he says something like that, then I think that we're going to get one more flush in the market. But that was something I also mentioned yesterday here on the daily chart. I don't believe that it will go lower than this wick here, than $114,500 if we would get that flush. I still lean more to the fact that we get here a bounce today at some point and will go to $119,000 or potentially even higher than that to retest the downward sloping trend line here with even a potential break above that level and a daily candle close above that. Because if we start now breaking down from here, that could at some point invalidate the third wave in that Elliott wave count. So we should not get here a breakdown, start consolidating like that for an extended period of time, and then somewhere in October you get that move to the upside. So that is not how Elliott wave counts are working, especially when you got the first impulse move, you have the consolidation, you have a bullish pennant or a bull flag or a symmetrical triangle or a downward sloping parallel channel that can also argue to be a bull flag. Once you have a pattern like this here, you know that the continuation is coming in an Elliott wave count. So if that now turns around and we chop sideways, it's not an Elliott wave count anymore. Or the count was wrong. That is the other option. But I don't believe that. Then here on this daily chart, we see currently another retest of the EMA ribbon on the upper end of that, while we are holding in the golden ratio. Nothing has changed here as long as we are staying within the golden pocket here from 116,660 to 118,100. Everything is fine. Like I said, the only thing that we don't want is stay here indefinitely or for a really long extended time. We need to get here that move pretty quickly to the upside. If not, then we are actually going to retest some of these strings here on the EMA ribbon that could go as low as $115,400 in my opinion. So which is slightly above the 1.382 level. And from there, then we're going to get that bounce back. On the 30 minutes time frame, you had here once again the possibility to catch a trade from the original entry down here from $170,176.45. But I also here, I want to warn you right now. So if you're in that trade, set your stop loss to the entry, and I'm gonna explain you now why. You have here three waves, and every time these waves getting smaller. Usually what that means, and that's why I think there could be one small move to the downside. Usually what that means is you get a move like this, one bearish engulfing into lower levels to grab liquidity there, and then you come straight back up. So we have seen this many, many times before. So I can show it to you. Let me see here. I'll go more over to this side if I get the candles. Here. 1, 2, 3, boom, down. Here, basically also one that was not as high, not much higher than that one here. Actually a little bit lower, but again, bam, down. So now we do this again, but in a way cleaner way, you know, so this is the cleanest way that you can get that. And that could mean you get one more move here to the downside, below that green box to grab liquidity, and then you go back up. So, and if we are going to do that, here you can see that pretty obviously, it will not go below these candles here. Not below these ones here. That's why I believe like 116, 115, somewhere there is where it's going to stop. Here, There's some support now, also from over there and over here. And then I expect that we are shooting back up if this is going to play out that way. So the other scenario is bullish for FOMC. You know, FOMC will be bullish. And then you see, come on, give me my chart back. What's going on here? Reload. There we go. So you see this downward sloping trend line broken. So this is, if you're not in a trade right now with Bitcoin, this is the line that you need to watch. When that line is broken, you can enter. Or we come back here into that green box. That's also where I would enter from. These are the two levels that I would be watching for a Bitcoin trade currently. Because also the downward sloping trend line is lining up here with the horizontal level. Plus, I would be not surprised to see a move here to the upside based on the indicators on the 30-minute time frame. Because look here, MACD losing momentum on the sell side, buy signal is stochastic. Can I argue? Yeah, small bullish divergence on the RSI, plus that the RSI is also going up and formed here W. Everything points here to definitely a little bit more upside. If you want to take any of these trades, guys, don't forget to sign up here on BloFin. You get up to $5,000 in deposit bonuses there. Yeah, sign up and deposit bonuses plus 20% cashback on initial deposit. This is only valid until tomorrow. You know, until tomorrow, then this expires. And if you have a BloFin account and you deposit at least $500 into the account, you can reach out on Telegram or on Twitter to my team, and we're gonna add you to the private Telegram group where I send really good trades. But we're gonna trade there from $500 to $10,000 really slow. You know, really slow because we want to get there. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It's more about that we're getting there. So if you have $500, you want to reach $10,000 in this run, then you know what to do now. And links are in the chat and also in the description below. 1 second, I need to check really quick something. 1 second. Okay, so here on this 4-hourly chart, I'm gonna show you why I believe that there's the possibility that we would come lower. And the other reason for that is that we are under the 20 and under the 50 moving average here, plus that they are crossing over in a really bearish way. And that opens us up that we go down to touch the 200 moving average, which is roughly around $115,000 once, no, a little bit before the FOMC meeting, actually. Just before the FOMC meeting, the 200 moving average will be around $115,000. So we don't need to touch exactly the 200 moving average, but getting close to it. Getting close to it might be in the cards here right now with these bearish signals on the chart. So would I go and short this now? Definitely not. You know, so don't go and short this. I just see here in the chat, Moonlit thinks alt season is over. No, it's not over. You know, so this is normal. You know, this is absolutely normal in a bull run that you get situations like that. You know, so this just an attempt to shaking out people and take the liquidity and then keep sending it higher. You know, it happens all the time. So, and as you can see here, we are consolidating, you know, for 2 weeks already, a little bit more than 2 weeks since we had the all-time high. In a bull run, this can go on for up to a month. You know, that is nothing crazy. And then you have like a week or two where Bitcoin runs again like crazy. And then you have again 2-3 weeks of consolidation before you get the next move to the upside. So, and that can include a move here into that 200 moving average. On the MDX Algo scalp gradients, here we are cooling more down. So we're here now in light blue candles while we are below the $118,400 level, which is crucial for us to get above, to get continuation in direction of $120,000. Also here, right now, if we would get a move into that green box here, and that would be where we would drop back into, the candles will start to be green. The reactor indicator is still looking bullish because we see a turnaround, and that is a conflicting signal in my opinion right now, and that's why it can technically go either way. So like I said, you need to watch these levels here, 118,400 and then $115,000. You have the downward sloping trend line. If the trend line is broken, we go up. If we get rejected from there, we are going down, and you will find out pretty soon. So we are 4 hours, a little bit more than 4 hours away from actually finding out where it's going. But when you're looking at liquidity, and that's what this stream is about today, when you look at Bitcoin's liquidity, where the liquidity is definitely to the upside. It's definitely to the upside, but market makers also love to play games. They love to play games with us, and they could, because we are also really close now to take downside liquidity, even though there is not a lot, to drive it first down and then push it up instead of first going up, because also here we are below the 50 moving average. We got rejected from there earlier today, and here is the 200 moving average coming up. And again, I would be not surprised if we go here to like $116,000 based on the over-leveraged liquidity that's there on long positions, and from there see us flying back into these higher areas where we find concentrated liquidity. Because also in the 2-weekly chart, you can clearly see here is where people want to go. Everybody wants to go up here to grab this. There's actually more. I think there's right now $1 billion in total on the way up here. But just in this area is $286 million right now, almost $287 million worth of liquidity to be taken when we get a move here to $120,527. Below us, there's nothing. There's not much. So there, and here you see once again, they cannot really go much lower than $115,500, $600, because there's a liquidity gap. There's nothing to grab for people. There's nothing to grab for a market maker. That would be interesting, and that's why that will be most likely the level from where we reverse back to the upside and then go for everything that is up here. So, and you should set accordingly your limit orders on Bitcoin, layer them. So I want to show you that one time on this chart, how I would layer them, that you understand. So and you have to basically do that right now. So there's not much time. This can go down. Let me maybe see on a higher time frame than the 30-minute charts. So there's I going down. It could be the next 4-hourly candle. That brings us down there, especially coinciding with FOMC at the same time. So if you want to catch Bitcoin's move to the downside, like I said, 115,500 might be where it's going to stop. That would be a little bit below the support here of 116,000. Basically, every $500, you have a limit order. So now you have to think about how much money you want to put in this trade, because every level is a proportional level of the amount that you want to put in. So here, yeah, so then maybe 115, just in case. So you have your 5 levels, and you spread the money that you want to put into that trade then accordingly. So 5 levels divided by the amount of money that you have means 20% on each level for the limit orders. And then it does not really matter how much get touched from there. So maybe you only get the first 3, maybe you get only the first 2, maybe you get all here the first 4, but not the 5th one. It doesn't matter. It's just important that you are able to catch one of these before it reverses to the upside, because that will be an entry that you will not get in a really long time. So that's why you should take advantage of that exactly in that way. And what I would also do is, once we are getting a close above a 4-hourly close above $118,400, I would crank up the leverage. So here on that way down, on all these levels, I would go with 10x. And once we are breaking here 118,400, I would crank up the leverage would use 25x, set my stop loss to the entry level that you will have then. It will go up, of course. Your entry might then maybe here, maybe there. It will take a bunch of the liquidity out that you initially put into this trade to de-risk, which is fine. And you will be left mostly with the profit that you made already on that trade. So, and then if it keeps going up, now you have a 25x leverage trade that you can just let run. I will try. So first of all, I'm going to do this myself. Going to set this up exactly in that way for you, that you see that if we are going down in that way and turning around, that you see how that practically played out. And then when I crank up the leverage, how also that looked like. So, but of course, if that happens overnight, I have to show it to you then tomorrow or after tomorrow, whenever it's going to happen. And then how I'm going to re-add the money that was taken out when I crank up the leverage back into the trade to make the trade bigger while not losing really the entry overall that let's say here's now the 25x leverage entry because of course the entry goes up when I crank up the leverage and how I will then keep adding to that position and also keep cranking up the leverage. You will be at some point at 100x leverage, but your entry price will be so low that it doesn't matter. That it doesn't matter. You can let it run on 100x leverage because you have like 5, 6, 7% that Bitcoin needs to go down to liquidate you. Now, let's talk about the Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance is approaching here 61.9%. If we are getting this drop in Bitcoin, expect that we're gonna stop somewhere here in that range, maybe spike slightly above that, and then we come back down here in the following days. I want to remind you guys that I warned you about a scenario like that for so long. I warned you for so long about this that I did not like the way that we were going down, because exactly when we go down in that way that we did, and that was pretty fast, then you get here these consolidation periods on the dominance, which is then crunching the altcoin gains down or crushing the altcoin gains that you made on that whole move. So unless you were able really to get in here in most of the altcoins and have like a solid entry, like for example Ripple at $2.30, and you don't care that's right now trading just around $3. So if you were able to catch something like this, it doesn't really matter, But if you got in here, you feel it, because you are most likely in a loss right now, even if it's a small loss, if you did not use too much leverage, but you are in a loss right now, while the dominance is consolidating here. So if you want to trade altcoins, guys, I still trade most of the altcoins that I have on Bybit. $30,000 in deposit and sign-up bonuses. Link is in the description below, plus a Bybit card. This time I have my wallet actually next to me, so I can show it to you. There I will not show you the backside of that card, because there's actually my number, So this is the new Bybit card that I have. Yeah, so here on the backside is my name. 20% cash back with everything that I pay, and I use the card every single day. You should definitely get one if you can. Then total free market cap, holding on strong to support here at $980 billion right now. As long as that level is holding here, we should get a bounce and go back to the upside in the next 48 hours, worst case, in my opinion. Then Ethereum, I believe there is still one leg to the downside in Ethereum, because I had warned also about this for so long and said, when we get up here, expect that we get a rejection, consolidation, then we get the pump to $4,000. On the daily chart, that move has to happen basically between today and tomorrow to come still a little bit lower. If that is not happening and we stay where we are, that is again a testament to Ethereum's strength in the market, and we go straight up from here. So here, once again, if you want to get into an Ethereum trade, the safest way to do that is either if Ethereum will come down, and that would coincide, of course, with a drop in Bitcoin to $3,700 or slightly below that, And if we keep going up, then 3,864 is the level that you want to look at. You know, so these two levels is from where I would look for an Ethereum position. Either we break straight to the upside or we come a little bit lower. It can happen that we wick below this level, but this will be just a deviation. We will come back up and then you get the continuation. For Solana, we are just retesting support, you know, also nothing crazy, $177 right now. This is an area where I would personally already start building a position from here. Low leverage, don't go crazy. Do like 5x. You know, I saw people, I think in my Telegram, in the public Telegram, they showed me a screenshot of Solana going to $148 today on one exchange. I think it was on ZoomX or somewhere else, I don't know, but it wicked pretty hard to the downside on one exchange. You have to take this in consideration, you know, so because on some exchanges, you get these scam wicks to the downside, and that has nothing to do with the exchange trying to scam you, you know, so that has something to do with their liquidity. If there's a big person selling too much, too fast, then you get these crazy wicks to the downside, and that happen on no other exchange, and then you say, oh, I got scammed, you know, so they scammed me. So, but it is not a scam. This is not like a BitMEX situation from 2018, because everybody knows what happened there, and that was around. That is just a liquidity problem with the exchange at that moment, because there was somebody selling too much, too fast, and then you get these wicks on that specific exchange. So, but I want you to take this in consideration when you go now and open positions. So, because from the current price, here, $148 was what I saw on that exchange. That is a 16% move to the downside. So maximum leverage that you should use is 5x, you know, to avoid liquidation. And then on the way down, you should have, again, limit orders to add more to that position. So here, you can open right now. You know, there's nothing wrong with opening a position right now. You use, for example, again, 20%. And you have here, at 164, again 20%, 157, 20%, and here, down here, you have more. So you have here 60%, down here you do 40%. That will massively average down your entry price from up here to down there. And then your liquidation price will be somewhere around 130 on 5x leverage. Somewhere here will be your liquidation price. Highly unlikely that that will get touched. Your average entry should be around 160 then. So once you get back to like where we are currently at 177, you can again start cranking up the leverage to 10x, you know. So that is how I'm going to play right now some of these coins. So I want to have a look in the chat. Give me 3 coins, quick guys. Here's over 200 people. First of all, thank you for having here over 200 people on the stream. I really appreciate every one of you. And I think we also cracked 43,700 subscribers. I did not check yet, but I think we did. Let me actually have a look here quick. Did we manage to do that? Oh no, 4 more subscribers. I'm sure we can get 4 more. Send me altcoins, guys. 2 or 3 more altcoins right now, because my girlfriend is on the way here. Once she is showing up, I'm leaving. So give me 2 free altcoins that I should look at really quick. Okay, the first XRP. See, that's how quick that can go here, XRP. So also here, Lido. Lido one that I would buy right now. Okay, yeah. So she just wrote me, she's leaving. So her place. So there's not a lot of time until she's here. XRP. So personally, I'm still also in my XRP trade. You know, nothing has changed there, which is of course massively underwater. But once XRP breaks this downward sloping trend line, it will start flying. You know, so that's the only thing that I'm waiting for, that we are breaking this trend line here. When that is broken, it's time for liftoff. On the daily, heavily overextended and oversold. Once that bounce is coming to the upside and we are breaking this downward sloping trend line, I see here a candle like this. So that was how much? $3 to $3.55. So that was almost a 20% move in a single day. I see a candle coming like this when we are breaking this downward sloping trend line. The stochastic printing a buy signal, momentum shifting here on the MACD, and the RSI pinching to the upside. So let me have a look here. I want to make sure that I don't see here too many people writing the same coin, like one person writing all the time the same coin. So I want to make sure that we have here definitely more than one person asking for the same coin. Let me see. Wow. Also my eyes. Aptos. So I just gonna say quick about Aptos without showing a chart. Aptos is doing quite okay. There is a downward sloping trend line that we are holding on to. And as long as that trend line is holding, we are fine. So let me see here. Okay, gonna do Sui, because guys, you have to stop. You have really to stop to keep posting the same coin over and over again, you know, because I see then not anymore if there's maybe another person that posted the same coin, you know, because if I see at least 2 or 3 person post the same coin, then I actually go and look at that coin, you know, not one person spamming the same coin over and over and over again. So here, basically, yeah, just around the 0.5 level right now, which is a bounce level, you know, so that is a level that we usually pull back to and then find momentum to go back to the upside. Also here, you can technically start building a position from here. Worst case, we come down to the golden ratio and bounce from there. So that is not a bad decision to start building a position from here, because you should not forget how strong Sui is. Once it will turn around and go back to the upside, and also compared to other altcoins, how resilient Sui actually is against drops in the market currently. So let me see here, another one. Let me see here. Okay, so he's throwing, I see one guy throwing out more than one coin, which is fine. Well, 100x on Solana from 177. I would not do that. So let me see here. I don't know what init is. I have no idea what that is. Okay, so I choose one, the last one. I choose one because I had one here that I looked at. So this is also Sui, and that is Sonic. So former Phantom. Here, I think here is a huge opportunity right now, because this is heavily overextended. It had already a massive drop to the downside. I don't believe that Sonic will go here down into that deviation on the 4-hourly chart. I really highly doubt that it will go there, because it is currently sitting slightly above that support level here. And the opportunity will come when we are breaking this trend line here. So, but this is already a 10% move to the upside, so you should not wait until that gets broken. I would, if you want here a really solid setup right now, I would again start building a position here, set your stop loss at 27.5 cents, which is a 5% move from the current price, 6% to the downside. So, but your upside is massive from the current level. So because I would go here for 37 cents, so and that is a 28% move to the upside. So that's a 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio. Guys, my girlfriend will show up here, I think, any second. I have maybe a minute or two before she is showing up. Let me see. What was that here? Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna run now to be ready when she's here. I will be back tomorrow, so don't forget, guys, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I hope we have a good FOMC meeting, pumping everything up and seeing you with more money tomorrow.